everybody. We are live. I should have put a better title because we are live with Beth Spencer, Denyse Allen, who for some reason we can't see, and Joe Scott, the amazing Joe Scott. We're just joining. Everybody's just joining. We'll give you a second. We'll show off the Chihuahua.
This is Charles. He
Charles.
is very old. We don't know how old. He came to us from a parking lot in New Mexico when we lived there.
Hello, everybody. Come on in. I'm super excited to have you, and I am so excited to have guests this time. We were just on a call, and we were just talking about such great things that I said, let's go live. Like, let's just take this live. So come on in. I'm very excited to have you all. This is amazing. We're going to talk about all things Substack. And the reason why I wanted to have them on is we have three people who have done very different things and are at very different points in their Substack lives. And so I wanted to hear from them, and I wanted to have you get a glimpse into, okay, where are they? What has been their experience? And then what you can take from it. Because one thing I hear from people a lot is we just want to hear other examples. We want to hear case studies. We want to hear from like real people, in the sense of Substack tends to be highlighting, and this isn't a complaint, but they'll highlight Sam Harris. Like, it's just a very different vibe. So thank you all for being here. This is amazing. We were just talking about notes. And so what I want to do is just go around. For some reason, we can't see Denyse, but she is here. Hey, good morning, Mom from Los Angeles. If you're just coming on and you maybe don't know Substack Writers at Work that well, let me just explain. My philosophy is that everyone deserves to be paid for their work. Even if you think you don't need to be paid, you do. I don't walk into McDonald's. I don't walk into McDonald's ever, but I don't walk into Starbucks. I don't walk into Whole Foods, wherever, or McDonald's and say, like, you know what? I think you should work for free. Like, that just doesn't cross my mind. So your work, you should be paid for your work. That is my philosophy. And so on Substack Writers at Work, that's what I'm trying to do. Even if we're only being paid with emails, right? Because that's a gift. That is something that's very valuable to people. So if you're new to Substack Writers at Work, that's really my philosophy, is how can we use Substack to further your creative lives, your professional lives, your personal lives, in the sense of Substack is such growth in every way. Okay, so we were talking about notes, and what I want to hear from each of you is what has been your experience on notes recently, and then before this explosion happened. Joe, let's start with you, and then we'll go Beth, and then Denyse, who's invisible.
Okay, yes, experience on notes. I have been I didn't really know what to do there. I mean, who does? So I was just posting my artwork on there, probably like I used to on Instagram. And then what seemed to happen was there was a lot more engagement than you would ever get in Instagram. I would post a picture. I am a working artist. So I was trying purposely not doing a hard sell, not saying, oh, click this link and you can buy this here. But people jumped through hoops to find me, find who I was, and buy from my website. So that has been the most beneficial thing from just posting artwork on Notes. That has a few things have blown up on there for me. But the other side, I mean, for just being on Substack, is because I have a split audience. I have people who like the artwork, but I'm an artist and I travel and I write about that. So I have been able to connect with a lot of different artists as well on there, and we've got a nice little community thing going on. So for me, the experience has been really varied. I've got almost two audiences on there, and I can speak to both of them.
That's great. And yeah, real quick, because this came up in the comments, if you're new to Notes, what is Notes? Like, what is this? And it is our internal social media network. That's basically what it is. And it has become Instagram and Facebook and Twitter all combined. That's pretty much what it is now. So if you want to know what's going viral, it's artwork. So like from Joe. And Joe, can you write in a message right now? Can you write in there, you guys?
Yes.
Write your
Yeah.
Substack names. Okay, so just so you know, Joe Scott's what's your I don't remember your Substack title now for some reason.
It's the traveling artist,
Traveling
or you
artist,
can
that's it.
just search for me at Joe Scott Artist.
Yeah,
Is
and you can search
I'm
their
typing it
names
in.
at Joe Scott and then at Beth Spencer. And Beth is the Introvert Drawing Club. So she'll put that in. And then Denyse, what is the name of your Substack again?
Oh, it's just my name. And funny, I can see me on my Substack that I'm live, even though I can't see me here.
That's okay.
So,
We know you're here. And
yeah,
yeah. And
I'll
Denyse
be
Allen, go ahead.
no, I'll just be very careful about anything that I do.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. So Joe's in there and Beth will put hers in, and so will Denyse. Denyse Allen is with a Y. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
Denyse with a Y. Okay, going back to what Joe was just saying, and what is notes? So I was saying it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram combined. What's going viral right now is if you are an amazing artist like Joe, like Beth, put your artwork on there. That is going viral. Okay. And then for the rest of us mortals, it is text only. That's what's going viral. So if you are restacking your posts, what does that mean? It's the little wheel in there. And on Substack Writers at Work, I have a notes in a nutshell video for everybody. So you can go on Substack Writers at Work. I'll show you in a little bit how to search it. Anyway, so it is to give you like the top tips for notes right now. So text only, and then it is within text, Facebook life updates, my friends. Tell us about your life. If anything has happened to you, especially if it's good, put it on notes. We love it. And then also Instagram feel good, and then Facebook stories. I'm going to have on Substack Writers at Work. Darian is coming in. She's a micro prose expert, and she's going to teach us how to tell stories in really short spaces. And that's really cool. So, Joe, what you were talking about, though, and what I loved about our conversation just now when we were off of live, Notes has really gotten people to your website and your other offerings. Why do you think that is? I'm just curious. You aren't putting your web address in there, are you?
No, not at all. I do on my. If you go to the desktop version of the traveling artist, I have a link to dog art, which takes you to my website. So, for people to get to me, they are liking. I know what it is. I think what they're seeing is they're seeing a portrait of a dog. They're a dog owner. They want their dog painted in that style.
Yeah.
And therefore they've gone above and beyond to find out where I'm selling that.
Yeah.
That's So, but the only way to get to me is either via my about page or my homepage on my desktop.
Yep. So I just want to show you. Oh, wait, can I do this? No, I can't turn around. Okay. So this is Joe's. Just if you can see it, this is Joe. Can you see that, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Joe's. So what she's talking about, and for those of you who are maybe new to Substack and you have any kind of external offerings, let's say you do courses or you're selling art like Joe is, you have it here in the navigation bar. And you can format these, you can have anything on here without creating sections. I repeat, do not create sections. Like that cannot, I'm going to have a t-shirt that says don't create sections. But you just go on your dashboard into settings here, and then you're going to go down. You can just put in the search bar navigation, and then you're going to go down and you can add links. So you can add anything. And what Joe added was dog art. And then we go here. But what's interesting to me, if we look at Joe's notes, and I'm going to just show you Joe's. So look at her art. Oh, I have to get my kitties painted, Joe. No question. Like, I can't believe I haven't done it yet. So here, this goes to her website, just so everybody knows. But what's cool is you're not advertising on Notes. You're not doing anything. These are Joe's. This is her new one. I'd share my filthy old dog treat with you. But see how there's nothing there, right? There's not. So they are, as you said, really going above and beyond for sure, right? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I've been ultra non-salesy on there on purpose, really. I don't like seeing salesy stuff myself on Substack, so I don't do it.
Yeah.
But then people ask me, if they ask in the comments, then I'm there, I'm present, and I will answer with a link.
Yeah, I love that. So, one thing we're learning for everybody, and this may seem like, especially if you're not getting a lot of engagement on Notes, you might feel like, oh, that'd be a nice problem to have. But actually, it's something I really struggle with, which is really being in the comments. So, even if you're just getting one, and we can talk a little bit about that, because the thing we were talking about is actually engagement, which we'll get to in a minute. But really being in your comments and having conversations with people. Beth, what has been your experience on Notes? So talk a little bit. Joe's been on Substack for a year, has gone from 0 to 1,500 subscribers in a year, which is amazing. Beth, what is your what has been? Tell us a little bit about how you came to Substack, how long you've been on, your subscribers, and your experience on Notes.
I want to echo Joe and saying that non-salesy approach is the way to do it. Um, my experience has been very pleasant. I mean, I started, I guess, 2.5 years ago, brought 180 something people from my MailChimp list that I didn't really use because the software was just a nightmare. And then I started, like just writing my weekly what I was up to, sharing art. And I know when I changed the name to Introvert Drawing Club, a lot of people started paying attention. And with Notes, I think it gave me a platform so that people I could meet new people who might want to come and draw with us. And I love it. It's been super fun. I don't have a strategy except I don't like asking people to give me money. So I just tell them what I'm up to, and here's what our amazing paid members. Also, sorry, I got to say, hey Raj, Emma, Teresa, Nikki, Andrea, and Michelle and Sam are here. And I had to shout them out. So yeah, it's evolved into this incredible community of all these inspiring humans. Like I really struggled for a while to be like, what do I write about? I got to make these people happy. But now it's more like what you said, share your life and not just the good parts. I had a book deal that completely, like, the publisher pulled the rug out from under me at the end. And I have told everyone about this my first book deal, and it fell apart at the end. So, but when I wrote about that, I think it was so therapeutic, and
Yeah.
it was and people, I think, appreciated sharing, like, there it's not all rainbows and puppies over here all the time.
Rainbows and puppies, except it's puppies in Joe's life, but it's not.
Yeah, I
Joe
like
gets
old
puppies.
men
Yeah,
dogs.
look at the Chihuahua. And you're at what? You're a bestseller. You're at five. Oh, what's your subscriber count right now?
I think like 13,000
Oh my gosh.
free, which is fine. Like, my mom and dad don't even read my newsletter. So, like, the fact that there are all these a large, number of people who care about what I'm doing, I don't take it lightly. It really
Yeah.
is incredible.
It really is. I just love what you all are saying. And it's something I struggle with too, because I really believe we all deserve to be paid. So, how do we get paid without being salesy? I don't know anyone in the Substack writers community who's like, I want to be salesy. None of us want that. What does not being salesy mean to you, Beth?
One thing you always tell us is to ask people to do one thing per email, not one, not two, not you cannot ask them to do more things. So that's my rule, hard and fast. And I broke the rule today, but we had a guest contributor who's amazing, Jason Chatfield. And
Oh, he's so
I
good.
wasn't gonna say no, sorry, Jason. So just asking them to do one thing, but it doesn't have to be. It's usually not join paid or join. It's usually like, hey, this is the art prompt this week, so let's share our stuff in the chat. Um, Stuff like that. One thing
Yeah.
though.
Yep.
And if they want to join Babe, then there's a way to do that. It's not hard to figure it out. There's buttons everywhere.
Yeah, totally. And one thing, I wish I could show. Don't have someone off the top of my head, but what Beth is talking about, and this is something I do, I harp on in terms of no sections, and I harp on this, which is one thing. We can only ask one people to do one thing. So on a post, you'll sometimes see like a decoration of buttons, a stream of buttons. It's like leave a comment, share, like upgrade to paid. It's all, become a subscriber, whatever it is, over and over. It's too many things. As humans, we're busy and we have decision fatigue, so we can only decide to do one thing. One thing, I actually have all my clothes set out for the week because I cannot decide what to wear in the morning. That's how bad it is for most of us humans. So thinking about that, so what Beth's talking about is at the bottom of your post or wherever you're going to ask people to do something, if you're going to ask them to share or ask them to subscribe, or subscribe becomes upgrade to paid. It changes, though we never see it. If you have subscribers, who are people who have subscribed, it will transition to upgrade to paid, just so you know. Okay, what's the problem with sections? Someone asks. It creates separate email lists within your Substack. There are good reasons for it, but most people do it to decorate their page. That's not a reason to do it. So just no sections for organizing your Substack. That's the problem. And when I met with Substack, I met with Dane, who's really great, and he sat with me and he said, "Why do you have all these sections?" And I said, "I was organizing my Substack." And he said, "No, that's not what it's for." And so then he changed it. Okay, so Beth was saying some really great things. I think Beth and Joe both, Janine Ouellette is like this too. She's really wonderful, just not being salesy. And I love what Beth was saying, which is you can ask people to do different things. We were talking about engagement. I'm going to get to Denyse in a moment. But we were talking about engagement. And one thing is, a lot of people feel like engagement is really low on their Substacks. And that's true. And sometimes we don't want a lifeless email list. That's not what we want. Like, we get very obsessed with more and more subscribers, which I love. I mean, I think, yeah, let's do it. But we also want them to be active. So just to give you an idea, if you see engagement on your Substack, you can see it on posts. You can basically, if you go to your homepage, and if you go here, you will see an open rate. But what we really want to look at is if you go to stats, and then it will give you your, hold on, I gotta find it. Basically, I'll find it in a second. We're gonna hear from Denyse. But looking at your engagement rate, what am I looking for? Open rates. I guess that is what it is. We only get open rates. So if you go to your dashboard, and this is my author Substack. So you go here and you see your open rate. Okay, so this is my author Substack, different from Substack Writers at Work. It's called Beyond Pathological. I just happen to have my name on here. And then if you look here, and this gets woefully short shrift, but this is my open rate. This is actually a very high open rate. So what I see with clients is anywhere between, for an open rate, and you can all look on your Substacks if you're on the desktop. And let's go. I would love to hear. So what your open rate is. I see with my private clients. So those of you who don't know, I meet one-to-one with people and I really mentor them and help them develop strategies on Substack and how to grow and monetize and just get engagement. So the what I see is I've seen open rates as low as 20%, and I've seen them as high as 75%. So there's a huge range. A lot of people are judging their open rates, but don't. And one thing to think about is what we want is this number, your 30-day views. That's what you want to look at. And we want to make sure it's healthy and not gray like mine. That is where being on notes really helps. Okay, so Denyse, let's hear from you. If you can't see Denyse, maybe you can. I hope you can. Denyse, what has been your experience? How did you come to Substack? What did you start with? Where are you now in terms of subscribers, and how long have you been on? And then what's your experience been with Notes? Are you there, Denyse? We've lost her.
Gosh.
She's dropped. I don't know what happened. Let me see.
Wait,
Okay.
wait, can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you are.
Yay.
Yeah, okay.
Did you hear the questions?
I had muted myself in case I coughed or sneezed or something in the middle of your what you were saying. Yeah, I got your list of questions. So I started in Substack in May. I found you soon afterwards, which was great. I then was horribly inconsistent through the summer and the fall with publishing. But so right now I'm at 240 subscribers and 5 paid, which is very exciting to me. And I just picked up those 5 paid in the last week. Um, my experience, and half my subscribers have come from Notes and half have come from outside of Notes, which is mostly my YouTube channel, I believe. I think Notes is really fun. It's super, super fun. Because I never know what I'm going to get in the feed. The algorithm's pretty good at serving me up things I'm interested in. My only thing that I don't like is it does tend to chamber me. And I guess that's every social media algorithm that puts you in an echo chamber. So I learned from you today, Sarah, to go up and search. I can actually search in Notes for certain keywords that I'm interested in following and finding people. So I'm definitely going to be doing that so I can find more people outside my echo chamber. And in terms of my most successful notes, are definitely ones that are well formatted. So it's like maybe 10 words and then a line break, and then maybe 5 words and a line break. Because people are scanning. So I am respectful of the scanning people are doing. I'm not trying to do a long post. Now, that said, I have done super long posts that are maybe 300 words, and those have done well too if they have a good opening hook to them, like, a good reason to read that post. I kind of call those like mini posts. It doesn't warrant like a full post that I'm doing, but it's something that I want to say. So, yeah, that's been my experience.
Can you see this? So this is when I was just talking about what is going viral on Notes, or what's getting engagement. Let's put it that way, because viral is relative. If you haven't been getting a lot of responses, this is viral. I mean, to get 17 restacks, that's really good. If you don't know restacks, this means that, so this is the little wheel. If I restack this, it's going to get in front of all of my followers. Okay. So that's what this means. So again, viral is relative, but this is what's working on Notes. It's Twitter in appearance, right?
Yeah.
And then it doesn't have to necessarily be short, but if you have an idea post, meaning like, so this is: the quality of my life rests solely on the quality of the stories I tell myself about who I am. Better storytelling equals better life. Great note, Denyse.
Thank you.
And so see how it's an idea post. She isn't telling a story about something that happened to her. What I'm telling people is short for idea posts, and then you can go longer if you're like telling a story about how you ate tuna yesterday or whatever you're going to tell a story about. But short text only. But then you saw with Joe's, and let's look at Beth too. What are you doing on Notes, Beth? Pretty much.
Well, today I realized like I didn't make any Valentine art, so I just shared this old graphic design like flyer I made with a cat. This is when I worked at an animal shelter. Anyways, yeah, I like just sharing what I don't even know. I drew a really bad frog the other day and was like, look at this, there it is. Oh, I was really lusting after some art supplies, and I posted that, like, tell me everything you know about these, whoever has them, so yeah, just like what I guess if it can help someone or maybe help me, it's going on Notes. But I mean, I do try to limit it to 2 or 3 notes a day, because if I keep opening my phone, that number goes up, and I don't like that very much. The
Yeah.
number being how many times I'm picking up my phone a day.
Right, exactly. And one thing to think about too, what I say is you really don't have to do more than one note a day. And why is that? It's because the notes algorithm privileges engagement, not frequency. I'm not
Mhm.
saying not to do 2 or 3 times a day. You can do as much as you want, but just know it's not the hamster wheel of other platforms. So you don't have to do
Awesome.
that.
Love that.
What about engagement? So, what is your engagement like? What does that word mean to you? What do you do to encourage engagement? Well, I'll just say what engagement is. It is comments, particularly on posts, comments on notes, restacks of your posts, restacks of your notes. And then, of course, likes, which our ego just adores. We just can't resist it, which I actually think are less important than comments. But tell me, what do you do for engagement? Do you struggle with it? It's okay. I mean, I think we all struggle with it actually, because we would want all of our subscribers. Oh, Elizabeth just asked, what's an idea note? It just means, so if I'm telling, so there are storytelling notes and then there are idea notes. And idea notes is anything that's not a story. Basically. So a story is me talking about how my cat is going on, the top, and then the other cat is coming around. Like I'm telling a story about something. And maybe it should have a beginning, middle, and an end. But it can also be an anecdote. So on Facebook, so a story has a beginning, middle, and end. So it might be something like, now I'm not coming, it would be like, the first time I suffered from mental illness, I was 12. I suffered from it through my 20s and 30s, and I recovered in my 40s. Like that's beginning, middle, end. It's a whole story. I wouldn't tell that story on notes. Actually, it's my book. It's pathological. Save that for a book. But if you're telling a story, it has a beginning, middle, and end. An anecdote is, oh my gosh, I went to the store and I found this great coconut water. And oh my gosh, and coconut water is from the gods, and it's really good for potassium, and it lowers, can you tell this? It lowers your heart, your blood pressure. Anyway, that's obviously what I was doing, but that's an idea post, right? Oh no, sorry, that's an anecdote. Like I'm talking about going to the store. An idea post is coconut water is lowers blood pressure, or this. Let's see, like if we're looking at Denyse just had one. We were just looking at Denise's, right? When she said here, so the quality of my life rests slowly on the quality of the stories I tell myself about who I am. Better storytelling equals better life. That is an idea, right? That's not a story. Okay. So yes, let's talk engagement. As I said, it is, it is the likes, comments, and restacks. Joe, how is engagement for you?
Yeah, engagement is very good for me.
Oh, good.
Very good indeed. On notes, it's very much. I am as an artist. I'm sharing it's like a communal feeling about a love of animals. Um, that comes through in a little caption or an image, and people connect with that. And I've had three, getting close to, I think I've over 3,000 on one post. Harold, I posted yesterday, and he's very popular. I've had lots of engagement on that post. But yeah, I think what we were talking about earlier is it's interesting that the engagement I'm having is on notes and perhaps less from my actual emails
Yeah.
or posts.
And something, I know that that can get dizzying what I'm doing, sorry. But that's really good to know. So what Joe has experienced is, for those of you just joining us, actually notes are bringing people to her outside, commissioning her artwork. And that's something to think about too. Do you have an external offering? And it could be courses, it could be anything, swag or whatever you're selling, or your art, whatever it might be, and that notes can be for that, and maybe that would be something else. How is engagement for you, Beth?
I really don't, I can't say because I push it so far out of my mind, but I feel like it's going well. And I do have a hard and fast rule for it. And it is to like never just ask a question to get engagement, because I feel like if it's not something I'm genuinely curious about, it's going to come off as phony. And like I don't want to be a phony. I want my notes and everything to just be like conversational, just like I would ask them in person. So sometimes I just say some things. Like I'll be like, what do I want to know, in on this topic? Like if I'm writing my newsletter and they always want a call to action, or we want to get some engagement. And then I'm like, well, maybe I think I don't want to know anything. I'll just leave it alone. And then at the footer of every post, it's got a little information on, because we all know Substack is not the easiest platform to navigate.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes I just don't even, I try to just leave it alone if I don't want to push it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, someone just said in the notes in the comments that you found the settings to enable the notes tab. Amazing. Um,
Ooh, I
yeah,
want to say one more thing, if that's
yeah,
all right.
go ahead. Yeah,
Joe's
no.
navigation is so simple, and I love that. I actually need to prune mine a little bit, because I think that's very helpful to have those little tabs, just like 3 or 4, and that's it.
Yeah. And this is what Beth is talking about. So look at us. Look at us. This here we are. Denyse is on the
What a
desktop. Denyse exists.
I'm on the desktop.
But so what Beth was just talking about is having your navigation bar with really clear um, tabs, and then you can go here. So, for instance, we're doing a Notes Boost challenge. This takes them right to this page, and I was talking about how to do that. When I send out this live video, I will take what we've done and then put these tips in the text so you can readily see everything we've covered. Okay. But that's great. Really having it be something that is genuine, a question that's real. And I love that. So what Beth is talking about is at the bottom of a post. Let's go to one of Beth's posts. At the bottom of a post, what you have here is this is Beth, Introvert Drawing Club. And so if you go in here, she's talking about, would this be one, Beth? This is one of Beth's
yes.
posts. I love this, 4 reasons to draw dogs. And what Beth does is she
That's
brings
great.
people into, she basically talks to people about how we can have drawing as more a part of our lives. And then this is the question she's actually asking at the end. She really genuinely wants to know, what kind of dog do you like to draw? What's your favorite kind of dog to draw? And then if you leave a comment button, it will send me directly to the comments. Okay. And one thing that's a shame is people can't upload photos, unfortunately, in the comments and things like that, which would be so great. That's cool. Denyse, what about engagement for you? What's it like, and what do you do? I think you're muted. Yeah.
No, I'm still here. I was waiting to
Good.
see. Okay. Engagement. I think, like Beth, I really don't try to pay much attention to it. I don't try to make my day about my engagement. And similarly in notes, I'm trying to post what I think of as organic notes, like it just comes out of me versus something that's calculated or plotted. That note you read, I literally thought of that while I was making breakfast yesterday and then just typed it in and hit send, right?
Yeah.
um, I've been reading this book, and it was all about, the way we talk to ourselves is the way, our life tends to go. And I was like, yeah, can I sum that up in essentially what would be a tweet? Can I sum that up in like 20 words or less? And that was the way I summed it up for myself. And then I just hit send. And I think the only other thing I think about is, would this be empowering for somebody else to read? Does this make their day better or worse?
Yeah.
So I don't post complaints. I don't post gripes. I don't post, hot takes on whatever's going on in the world. I'm all about empowering people to tell the stories that they want to tell, and I just focus on that. And hopefully, that's what people want to read. That's certainly what I want to write, and that's what I do.
And I love that. I mean, everybody, like, we have our own, here's Denyse's. And looking at, yeah, she's Chronicle Makers. This is hers. 10 months. And look at her page is really interesting too, is like just having, you can design your page anyway. This is a whole other conversation, obviously. But looking, why I quit professional genealogy and what I'm doing now. Again, just like were you saying, how would this help people, empower them? Yeah. I have another question for you, Denyse.
Yeah.
How are you getting people to your Substack from your YouTube channel?
It's just simply a link in the description.
Okay.
So YouTube, unlike other platforms, doesn't penalize links.
Yeah.
So I think every other social media platform penalizes links out of their platform, but YouTube's fine with it, and it's and you can really do a deep dive in how YouTube works, but it's a pretty generous platform because they're just really interested in feeding people content that will keep them on the platform. So I try to there, produce things that are interesting to people that are doing genealogy or family history. So that's where the writing using AI to make the outline came from.
Mm-hmm.
Because we deal with in our world a lot of information from a lot of different sources, and people have a hard time actually taking all that data and turning it into something useful and meaningful for themselves. So AI can certainly help us with that along the way.
Mm.
Yeah, and so I'll be focusing a lot more on that uh, in the next 3 to 4 months for sure.
That's cool. Like the benefits of it and how that can help.
Yeah.
For those of you, someone was asking, can I talk about notes? And I know that if you're just joining, and I talked about this at the beginning, what is notes? What is the deal with notes? Notes is really where all the growth is on Substack right now. It's just wild. So thinking about that, it's just an opportunity. What's happened on Notes, it used to be when it first started. So it's only been here for about 2 years now. We're getting on 2 years in April, I think, and about April when it went public for everybody. And so it is our internal social media network. And when it started, it was really a place, a hub, and you guys may remember this, but it was really just Substack people, Substack writers and creators talking to each other. It was very incestuous and is very lovely. It was like this little lovely world. And that's not, it's not that it's not lovely now, but it really is social media. Like that's just what Notes is. And as I say to my clients, you don't have to like it. you don't. You don't. You're just going to use it because why not? Like it is there, and it is such an opportunity for growth and getting your work to people. And sometimes we were talking about being salesy. Um and people can feel bad about wanting to grow too. You don't have to feel bad. Of course you should want to grow. You're getting your work to people. Imagine if Joe wasn't on here. Imagine if Beth wasn't on here, if Denyse wasn't on here, we wouldn't even know what they're doing. Like that's amazing. So even if you feel like, wait, what I'm doing isn't important, you don't know that yet. Notes is on Substack. Yes, Notes is found on Substack. If you go on the desktop, okay, I'm just showing the desktop because that's what I can show you. Go to your avatar in the upper right and click home. Why isn't it called Notes? We'll never know. It's Substack. Go to home, and then on here, this is Notes. So it kind of looks a little Facebooky. And so, as I was saying, it's really sometimes, it can be a photo, but with also a very short text or just text. And then it just depends who's restacks are when you would take your one of your posts. So I would take, for instance, this post and I would restack it. Let's just do that. I can restack. That'll send it into Notes, or I can restack with a note. Okay.
Sarah,
Um,
something I wanted to
yeah.
mention. When I'm making a note, I think about it like I am sharing this with all my coworkers because
Yeah.
technically these are not, it's not like it's people I want to sell to. It's people that I work with. And it's like hey, look at what I'm working on. Hey, look at what I'm wondering. I have a question about this. And instead of thinking about them like as my friends, or, it's my coworkers that I love, but,
Wow.
there's always some coworkers that, you kind of share a little less with at the water cooler. But like, that's what I think of. That's because I really miss having coworkers. And, yeah,
Yeah.
notes. Think of note people as your coworkers.
I love that, Beth. That is such a great way to think about it. And it is, again, not salesy. How do you think of notes, Joe? And then also Denyse. How do you think of notes? When you go to write a note, who do you picture?
Yeah, again, like Beth says, it is. It's about when I go to write a note. It really is. It's for sort of friends, family, people that I know, people who've bought work for me before, old customers, new customers. It's yeah. The vibe is completely different in terms of I'm not posting with a sales agenda behind it. I am sharing what I am doing in the moment. Yeah, my current dog portraits, I do paint other animals, but I'm doing mainly dogs at the moment, and it's what I'm known for. And the response has been great, and people have shared their dog pictures with me as well, which is lovely. It gives me a real boost. They're like, oh, here's mine.
I love what Seth just said in the comments, which is reply to 3 notes before you post your own. That's a cool little system. Very cool. And I love what Joe just said too, friends, family. Like there are just different ways. It's not like one of our ways of approaching notes is the right way. You have to find your own. Matthew Sutcliffe just said, I don't sell, but I swap value. That seems fair. I love that. Like
Yeah, that's
swapping
good.
value. The other thing I really want to share, and this is something I'm going to do a whole post on coming up, it's my revolutionary approach to sales, which is first of all, we're terrible salespeople. I just want to tell all of us that we were
Yeah.
not trained for the most part. Sales is a whole thing. It tends to be awful and it feels awful, but does it need to? So here's my thought on sales. Don't sell, promote. Think about how you promote, and promote might not be the right word. So someone put in the chat if there's a better word. Promote, meaning think about how you talk about the best movie you just saw. Like, oh my God, I just saw Honora. It is so good. The acting is incredible. I couldn't believe that she's not from Brooklyn, that she's from LA and she doesn't have a Brooklyn accent. That is educate. I like that, Sinead. Um, instead it is me just like, this is what I'm so psyched about in Substack Writers at Work. Oh my gosh, this is what we're doing.
Ah,
I love this, Ashley. I like to think of sales as sharing what I'm obsessed with. Teresa, invite, right? Oh my God, you've got to see this. It's kind of weird, but I would even ask you to write it down. So go, before you do a call to action, that means if you're going to ask people to upgrade to paid, like write it down. Oh my God, I'm so excited about this, about my Substack. And then that's your call to action. I'm just starting to do this because I hate being salesy too. Denyse, we were just talking about notes. Who do you think about when you go to write a note?
This is going to sound so egocentric, but I think about a 2 year younger version of myself. So I think about myself 2 years ago. What would I have wanted to hear from someone sitting in my place, and that's the way I write my note. So, the
I
younger
love
version of me
that.
would love to know, you can stop telling yourself these really cruddy stories about what life is, and just get over it and tell yourself a better version and let's move on. So yeah, that's who I'm writing to. Uh, I don't know. Is that too
No,
egocentric?
that's amazing. It's not egocentric at all. And
Okay.
sometimes what I do is basically, okay, what do I need to hear today? And then
Mm,
that's what I put in. And especially with the Notes Boost Challenge, if you guys don't know about it, we're doing a challenge in Substack Writers at Work. And again, I'll put all the links and stuff in the replay of this when I send it out. Okay. So you'll get all this and what we're talking about. But that is what I think about. What do I need to hear today? And then that's what I write about. That's amazing. What has been what's the best tip you could give someone about Substack? I'm going to give you a moment, you three, to think about it. And it's whatever just came to mind. Best is the wrong word. What's the tip you would give someone about Substack right now? That's a much better way of saying it. Denyse,
I
do you
have
have
one.
one? Can I start with you? I'm going to go
Yeah,
backwards.
yeah,
Joe's
yeah.
been in the hot seat.
Just yeah, I can go first. I, I I want people to write something that hasn't been written before. Like I want the unique thing that only you can write. You know, if you're just going to repeat to me the same 5 tips I could Google, like
Yeah.
I'm scrolling past it. You know, I want the thing only you can write, and that's what I want people to write. So I wrote about why I quit professional genealogy and my reasons why. Somebody else might have their other reasons for why they are a professional genealogist. That's
Yeah.
great. Like let's all communicate where we are. Yeah, that's what I want.
I love that. And just thinking about it a little bit differently in terms of a lot of people get on here and feel like they're on stage.
Yeah,
And of course we feel that because we kind of are. And
yeah,
and then also what you're talking about. And it's funny that you are showing us also how AI can be great and useful. But what I'm seeing, especially if you're following tips about Substack, a lot of these people are getting it from AI. And that's maybe okay. I mean, we all have our different views of AI.
yeah,
But the problem with it is, I want to share this with everybody, is that Substack changes at whip neck speed, which is the word I'm looking for,
yeah,
Breakneck.
so fast, and AI is 4 months behind. So I wouldn't listen to that. And then also just like if you're Googling it, that's not going to be necessarily the best kind of advice or the best breakneck speed. Thank you so much. That's not really what we want. That's not what we're on Substack for. In the notes challenge, someone said, "Well, why can't we just do it so that if someone endorses or shares your note, you just do it back?" Because that's not Substack. We're not
right.
follow for follow. We're not these other platforms, and we don't want to become like them. Okay, top tip right now, Beth.
Okay. When I got featured in, like, I guess 2023, I said I'm going all in. I'm gonna make this the thing I promote, and I got rid of my little link tree. It's where I send people only Substack, because if I want to open up a shop or ever make another book again, then I'll be able to sell that somewhere else. Like, I'm not. So I think that link trees, get rid of them. If you want to get subscribers, then stop, like, giving people decision paralysis or whatever. It's got to be in your Instagram link in bio. It's got to be. I hate pop-ups. I'm old enough to remember when we didn't have pop-ups, but on my
Yeah,
website I got a pop-up. Go to my Substack. It's just like the most important thing for me to send people to my Substack, and it's worked really well. That's the only. Well, and I mean, be nice to people, be kind, because they might recommend you if they like your writing, but they're not going to check out your writing if you don't. You kind of have to put yourself out there, and yeah, help people find you. Top tip.
So great. What I love about what you're saying, so if you don't know what a link tree is, because I didn't know, so I want to share what that is. On social media platforms, you can
Mm-hmm.
have many links. So you can send them to your other social media platforms and your
Mm-hmm.
website, whatever. And there are two philosophies in marketing, and this goes for authors, creators, everybody: be everywhere or be one place. And so, what I would recommend, it doesn't mean you need to be on Substack, although I highly recommend it. But pick one place where you want people to go, and then have every other place funnel them there. If you're sending people a million different places, you're very disparate, and it's harder to do. As some of you know, I'm not on any social media anymore. I'm just only on Substack. That was my choice. That works for me. And obviously, because of what I do, that makes total sense. So I'm not necessarily saying everybody should do that, but I do like being in one place. Even if I were on social media, I would want them. And why would Beth send people to her Substack? As she just said, and I just want to reiterate this, your email list is gold. It is worth so much money. And actually, it's worth so much more money than paid subscribers necessarily. And what do I mean by that? If you decide, I don't want to be on Substack anymore, or Substack, you don't just like, I'm not into it, which will never happen. But if you do, you get to take all your subscribers with you. You get to take all your content. You can go anywhere you want. You can do anything you want with those people. If you're a creator, if you're a writer, if you're a business person, if you're a professional, if you're a coach, anything, that email list is going to be with you forever. And that is amazing. Followers, poof, TikTok shuts down tomorrow. You can have 3 million followers. They're gone. You have no access to them, no access to your content. And that's what the TikTok potential ban, now it didn't go through, really showed us.
Yeah.
Joe, top tip, Substack right now for everybody.
Play. I would
It's a
say
good
have
one.
fun and enjoy yourself with it. That's exactly what I've done since I started. I didn't have a clear idea. I'm getting better with some ideas around strategy now, but I played with it. I enjoyed myself, and when that comes through in your writing and what you're sharing on notes, that seems to really get, I mean, that's what's got the traction for me. I'm just loving
Yeah.
it, of being on here, being in it. Play, enjoy yourself.
I love that. And Joe, I feel like you're a really good mix. All of you are of being having some strategy and playing. Do you
Yeah.
agree? Like how do you manage that balance? Or do you feel like you really just, because you're in my community, you can't be in my
Yeah,
community without having some strategy, because I'm
yeah,
like pushing
exactly.
it
Yeah, yeah.
like a drug pusher.
I on before I met you, Sarah, I had zero strategy, but I really was like, throwing spaghetti at the walls. Obviously I'm writing about art, and I'm sharing art, but how does that work out? And then with just experimentation, and then with a bit of guidance, okay, a lot of guidance, then yeah, then you narrow it down. So yeah, again, I'm still there's still other ways I could go with it, and again, I have ADHD as well, so flicking between different angles in my Substack really suits
Mhm.
me, but then trying to keep that under control, as in, so I'm not talking about windmills or other strange things that aren't related to art and travel. So
Were you
yeah,
going to say something, Beth, to that?
Oh, I don't know. I wrote down play because that is so important. Yeah, and someone, Stephanie says joy is magnetic, and
Yeah,
that's so true. I can post the ugliest drawing I've ever made, but if I really had fun with it, I think it would still resonate with some people. Like you definitely got to have fun and experiment with your substance.
totally.
Yeah.
And I probably drive people nuts with my experimentation, but I'm always experimenting because I'm also trying to experiment for all of you. I'm trying to figure
Mhm.
out what is working, what's not. I do such bad things, like I fail all the time, and then I tell you don't do that. Or and again, everybody's different. That's what's so interesting about Substack, and that's why this advice and hearing it from 3 different people, and we're getting to Denyse in a moment, is so important, because what is going to work on Substack is going to be different for each person. And it is its own ecosystem. And you really do need someone telling you, like, these are the best practices. But not only that, here's how Substack works. It's so confusing and so frustrating and so overwhelming to all of us. And that's just the reality. And you need a community. Like, you need to be like here and feeling like, let's just all be together in this. Yeah. Should we be simply sharing on notes or asking questions and invite comments? Do it all. Do it all, Marielle. Yeah. Fail is it spelled explore. Love it. Okay, Denyse, advice tip for Substack for others right now.
I took your advice to heart, which was don't restack your posts. Like you had said, restacking posts that you made doesn't get traction on your posts. So
Yeah,
just be genuine in notes. And then if people are interested, they'll click on your little face and then go over to your publication and see what you're writing about. And I just just keep that in mind. Like if people are interested to hearing more from me, they know to click my face and then they'll go and subscribe or not. And now Substack has the button there where people can subscribe, but
Right.
which is not confusing at all for people what they're
And
doing. But yeah, I think just it's I think what you said, like just be genuine in notes, just be yourself, show up every day, post something, reply to people, be genuine. You know, it's a coffee cocktail party, or you know, you're gathering in the coffee shop kind of thing, and just treat it like that, and be like, oh hey, how's everybody, and then you can leave and come back, and everyone will be there. That's what I just try to keep in mind with notes.
yeah, and that's great. I'm going to share exactly what Denyse was talking about real quick. Video clips and notes. I've been testing video a lot. I'm not seeing a lot of traction. And my videos are fabulous. No, I'm just kidding. But also being on notes and just seeing what other people, and put in the comments right now below if you are getting traction with video. But I just haven't seen it unless someone's very famous and has a gazillion
No,
subscribers. So I haven't seen a lot from video, just to answer that question. Your subscribers will not see your notes. So you have subscribers and you have followers. Your followers see your notes if they're on notes. All of your subscribers are your followers automatically. Okay. But your followers don't see your posts. I hope that helps. But look at this. So I just want to share what Denyse was talking about. Now look at this. Look who sat on our garden gate last night. Can you see this? Look at that owl. That looks like a painting, doesn't it? No wonder it
wow.
has 9,100. See, this is the other thing about notes. It has to be shareable. Like I immediately want to share this. I just want everyone, I just
I
made
want
you
to
look
draw
at
it.
it, right? I mean, that's like, so again, a lot of people, in the Notes Boost challenge, what I'm seeing, because I try to go into the feed and just see what people are doing, a lot of it's
Yeah.
just not shareable. Like, I mean, it
Right.
is, again, treat notes as a business. I don't mean to be, and business doesn't have to be gross. Like it doesn't have to be what would you call, like it doesn't have to be mercenary, but in
Right.
the sense of really you just want to, as someone on notes, like, and I love, so just to recap for people who may have joined just now, I love what Joe, Beth, and Denyse said. Who do they think of when they're writing a note? Joe said family and friends. Beth said her coworkers, like people she really likes. That's who she's writing to. And then also Denyse said her younger self, like herself 2 years ago. Those are such great ideas in the sense of, I think it takes us out of the vibe of I'm on social media. You can tell people who are writing for social media because it sounds like they're proclaiming from on high. Like, they're like,
Oh yeah.
do da da, like, like joy is about X, and
Right.
there's sometimes that works, but you can just kind of tell. And what all three of these amazing women have said is actually make sure that you are talking to one person or a small group of people. And that is really key on notes and really great. Okay, so what Denyse was talking about, I do recommend restacking all of your posts all the time. That is not getting a lot of traction. So what do I mean? Let me go on to my Substack. So Substack Writers at Work. Can you see this, Beth? Is everybody looking?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. If I go here, let me just undo restack. I can restack. So I'm on my Substack, and then I'm on a post, and then I can restack. That's what this little circle is. I can restack it. This sends it into what I call the river of notes. Think of your Substack as your home. And then if I want to go to notes, it would be great if Substack called this notes, but they don't. And go down here. This is notes. Think of this as a river. It is a river separate from your home, which is actually not this. This is a river, and you have to leave your home to go to notes. So unless you restack a post, it's not going to get in there. So these are not going viral, meaning unless you're super famous, but keep doing it because we don't know when something's going to change. Like video, do it for now. The notes algorithm, and this comes from Substack, they change it all the time. So they are, as Substack has said, They are building the plane as they're flying the plane, and we are on the plane. That's Substack. So just know everything changes all the time. So looking at that, yeah. So thinking about do restack, but what Denyse was talking about is when you're on notes, and let's say I go here, I'm on notes, and I know this is different on the app. I go here and I have the option to do a post. Remember, that's on my Substack and goes to subscribers. Video, which is going to give me a video post, and then a note. So if I'm on here, I'm just going to put, we're live. If I put a note there, what we were experimenting with was, and this is kind of cool, if you go to your homepage, copy the URL, and go here, it'll create a really nice image of your Substack that's a direct link. And then you can actually get rid of the URL too. And this will stay. So if I post this, see, this is going to now send people directly to my homepage. Now I could also
Nice. Okay.
do Substack. See how that's Substack home? I can also do subscribe. That's going to send people not to my homepage, to where I was going. I was on substack.com. Hang on, that's why. Substack writers at work, backspace, subscribe. I mean, backslash subscribe. This is going to send people, should have sent people to my subscribe page. Oh, I have it spelled wrong. Sorry. Okay, that's going to send people here. Oh my gosh, 10% off. Okay, and this is a whole other conversation of something I'm playing with that I like doing. This is something that shows, so instead of having a sale, do this, everybody. So I don't like sales because I feel like it devalues the work. I know they work. I get it. But I don't like it because when I see someone who's giving 50% off, I think like, what's wrong with your Substack? Why are you doing that? Don't give more than 10 or 20% off. I just think it's for, this is from a lot of digital media publishers, is that if you do too much of a sale, again, it's that it taps into, if you look on Udemy and places like that, you've got a course for $2,000, but it's on sale for $19.99. We are in digital media and digital publishing and digital education, like however you want to call it. And that's just not a best practice for us. It's okay for the Gap to have a sweater that's 50% off, but not us necessarily. Okay. Anyway, this is another conversation. But if I were to copy this, I know sometimes I go all over the place and I apologize. And I'm on my note and I go on here and I do a note and I do, we're still live. And then I do this. This is actually going to send people to my subscribe page. And again, if you want it to look really nice, you can delete this and then post it. Okay. And now this is going to send people to my homepage for some reason. But anyway, it is, I'm not sure why it did that. But this is one thing I was telling people to do. You don't
Okay.
need to do that anymore, because now what Substack has done, for better or worse, we can subscribe directly on Substack. If we think about followers versus subscribers, you actually have to go here to follow. Or I have nothing against the archaic allegory, by the way, allegory. You have to go here to follow. Subscribe means I'm going to actually get their newsletter. I've said I'm a little nervous about this for multiple reasons, but so if you're on Notes, you can subscribe and you will be getting their newsletter and their notes. So you don't need to do what I was just talking about as much. And before we did, one of my clients tested this and actually found that her notes did not get as much engagement or traction in the algorithm. I have nothing that says that that's true, by the way. So just know that is not from anything real. That's just one example. That's an N of one. So anyway, so that's what Denyse was talking about with that. Okay, let's take a couple questions. Video versus live video. Darian, it's a great question. Live is fun. Yes, everyone who's here? It's pretty fun. I just love, I like the interaction of it
Yeah.
versus video. It's just really, really fun.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Oh.
Cool. I just like that we're all together. Subscribers will not see your notes. No, Lucille, subscribers will see your notes if they're on Notes. They are not emailed. So subscribers get emailed, followers only see your notes.
Mm.
There's not a penalty that I know of for over restacking, but that's great, Weedham. That's really, I like that. Is a scheduler necessary? There is one scheduler. If someone has it, you can just, Finn Tropy is his name. I don't like to announce it a lot. He's a super nice guy. He did the only note scheduler right now. And the only reason I don't like put the URL in and making it a little hard is he's one guy and he has a full-time job. And he said, don't announce this to your 20,000, 30,000 subscribers because I will not be able to manage it. So, but you can do Finn, Finn Tropy, Tropy, Substack Notes Scheduler. I don't know. I've been using it. It's definitely not for the tech averse. Okay, that scheduler. I will say that. Doesn't call notes. Oh yeah, Substack calls notes home. But you can do two different things so that you can go to home here, but on your Substack, if I go to my home page, if you can see this up here, if you can see in the URL, if you go to your URL and then just type notes, this will take me to my notes, but not the general notes feed. To go to the notes feed, I have to go here to home. And then I get all of my subscriptions are going to be like the latest editions. And then there. Okay, amazing. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I hope this was a nice Valentine. Anything else you want to say, Joe? Any last thoughts?
Gosh, no, this has been fun. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you for
Yeah.
everyone listening. And now I need to go and cook my Valentine's dinner.
Go to it. Beth, last thoughts.
I just want to say happy Valentine's Day. And if you subscribe to Introvert Drawing Club, you get an invite to the next session. You can try it out. And it's really fun when we have a really cool guest artist named Shivam. And hey, Raj. And yeah, anyways, introvertdrawingclub.com.
I love, so here we go. Now, do not publicize your Substack, okay? Like I understand, and don't not let people know that they should pay you for your hard work on your Substack. Like we are just a very sales averse group in here. I think most artists, writers, creators, even visionaries, coaches, everybody, like, we're not big salespeople. But again, I'm going to be talking about this on Substack Writers at Work for sure. Denyse, last thoughts.
Last thought, yeah, just happy Valentine's Day. Everybody just treat yourself to something special today and enjoy it. Just enjoy your day.
Amazing. All right, Joe, Beth, Denyse, this was so fun. Thank you so much. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for being part of Substack Writers at Work. We are just the coolest community. I'm blown away by how amazing you all are, and you make this community great. And I am really, really grateful for every single one of you. And I am not just saying that. It is made my life. You have made my life amazing. And so thank you so much. All right. See you soon. Bye, everybody. Thanks again.
Thank you.